Welcome to our Mayor's Podcast, Breaking It Down. Today I'm joined by my co-host, former Mayor Steve Benjamin. Thanks for coming today, Steve.
I'm glad to be here, Phyllis.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking about affordable housing with the Mayor, Andre Dickens from the great city of Atlanta. Thanks, Mayor Dickens, for joining us.
Thank y'all for having me. This is an honor to be here with Phyllis and Steve.
Well, we're glad to have you. So on this show, we really break it down, right? And so when we talk about the word like affordable housing, I always ask the question, affordable for who? Right. So define affordable housing and what it really means to you when you hear affordable housing.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest questions because most people are saying, housing costs so much money and some people can afford it and some can't. So what's affordable to me may not be affordable to you. So that's the challenge, right? So you can't just say $500 rent or $1,000 rent or set a definitive number across multiple jurisdictions. What you really have to do is look at what can people afford. 30% of your income or less should go to housing. But we know that far too many people are paying more than 30% of their income each month on rent. And the reason why 30% is the number that's set is because you want to leave the other 70% for things that you need, like childcare, transportation, of course, many things like food, medicine, and leisure. But when you spend 50% of your income on housing, you think about how little you have left for healthy food. And when you can't buy healthy food, you're going to end up having medical costs and other typical issues. If you, spend 50% on housing, you have less money for transportation, like a car. And if a car ends up breaking down, now you got an emergency. And so all these things add up. And so that's why you want to keep these costs down below 30%. And so a person that's making, $3,000 a month, well, if they're paying more than $900 or $1,000 a month on their rent, then they're going to be cost burdened.
Absolutely. What I've admired about you, obviously I know who you are as a man of faith, as a businessman, obviously as a policymaker, even becoming the mayor of Atlanta. What some folks don't know is that you're either, if not a national leader, now becoming the national leader on building some creative public-private partnerships. How do you see that and that role in helping you kind of make sure more Atlantans have more housing that they can afford in the city?
Yeah, so we're right here at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and when you think about the fact that right now we just started the P3 Task Force, and I'm honored to be the chairman of that. The P3 Task Force is the Public-Private Partnership Task Force where mayors and business leaders across the country are getting together to talk about ways that they can form partnerships that matter. And these partnerships, called P3s, allow you to move better, faster, and less expensive on your project deployment, various infrastructure projects, or even social good projects, things like affordable housing developments, roads, sidewalks, or even municipal parking lots or court buildings. You can use a partnership to be able to get those things done versus the typical purchasing, which cities do, where you purchase these products and you have to, take on all the risk yourself, versus utilizing a P3 where you share the risk. Perhaps in affordable housing development, which we're doing right now. I bought a building downtown, a big building downtown
He rich,
Atlanta.
He rich.
I say, city of Atlanta, me as mayor. So this building was underutilized by the state of Georgia, and they were going to sell it on the open market. I got in there, made a deal with the governor to buy this building, and now we're going to do a public-private partnership where businesses can come in, we'll come in together and co-develop this space. I wanted to have mixed income and mixed use. Retail on the bottom, and affordable housing and market rate housing up top. So you're going to have a multi-layered building where people will be able to live, work, and play because offices will be in there. But now the city of Atlanta is not a landlord. And we don't do really development each and every day. We co-develop and we work together. But we want to benefit on the revenue side. So the rents that are being charged, the city will get a portion of it and the developer will get a portion of it.
You can reinvest.
We can reinvest in the property next door or down the street or the parking lot. And it's right near our what we call MARTA, our rapid transit. It's right over our MARTA station. So you think about the businesses that want to be there, the people that want to be there. I want to be a part of that in a public-private partnership. Now, it's a 42-story building. So
a big building.
It's a big building.
Wow.
It will be the largest residential tower in the city.
Oh man.
when we're finished. Now, if I was to do it as a city leader, it would take a lot longer than us coming in with a development partner. So this is a clear example of a public-private partnership that's going to bring people together, that allows us to deliver this faster, because people need housing today, not 10 years from now when the city figures it out. We want to start on this right now and get it finished in the next 2 years so that people can benefit from this new development. And it's going to be a adaptive reuse is what we call it, when you take a commercial property and convert it into residential. And that's happening in downtown now.
And that's exciting. You know, Phil's talking about the whole theme here, breaking it down, because sometimes we talk policy and our constituents are like, okay, what exactly are you saying? You said mixed use and mixed income.
Yeah.
I mean, so something for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a theme when I served in office, that people who work for my city ought to be able to live in my city.
That's right.
That's kind of our promise. So people be able to shop right there.
That's right.
Transportation right there. I mean, that's awesome. That's exciting. I hadn't heard about it. That's exciting.
So mixed use is good because you can have retail, office, and housing. So it's mixed use, so people you might not ever have to leave the building. But then mixed income is the best way to develop a community.
Absolutely.
So the teacher, the janitor, and the principal can all live in the same neighborhood, and their kids go to the same school and have the same amenities. That's the way it used to be. But now, the way housing has segregated, because some people in the community can only afford, $1,000 rent, and some people can afford $10,000 mortgage. Well, those people live in disparate parts of town versus being able to live in the same area where these kids and these families are able to benefit together with the same amenities. And so this mixed income approach is going to be something you hear a lot about, especially when you're talking about, we're going to make it beautiful so everybody will want to live there. We'll just charge different rents and have different subsidies.
That's exciting, bro.
Good. Now, I've seen some policy changes across the U.S., so I get to talk to a lot of mayors. I know in San Diego, they had to do a policy change because they're so landlocked. So now they allow you to build additional property in your backyard.
Yeah.
Right? And so talk about some of the policy changes you've done in the housing space. I know you talked about mixed use, but some of the things that you either are doing or want to do for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I love our mayor friend in San Diego and the things that they're doing that are innovative. And we also have accessory dwelling units, those additional dwelling units behind your house. Back in the day, you called them granny flats or in-law suites, or, the house in the back where you can rent it out to a college student or to your family members or in-laws. And that's a great way for income for the family, but also it's a method of affordable housing. Typical single-family lots have a big backyard, and you could put another unit back there. You could put a garage with an apartment above it, and that's a way for a person or a family to be able to live and pay less, because the thought is that the land is already paid for, so this new structure doesn't have to absorb the land cost. They now just have just that cost of the structure, and so that's how you can see some more affordability. If you do a number of those across the city, you just added units without utilizing more land. And we want to do it in Atlanta, and we're doing it in Atlanta. We've opened it up to certain zoning districts. You can't do it everywhere. Every community doesn't want it. Some communities are historic and they don't want backyards being encroached upon or parking out front, because it may come with an additional car because that person in the back may have a need to drive. But we're trying to be modern and be progressive about how we roll this out in certain areas, and communities are loving it, particularly families that want to have additional income.
So that's the other piece right there.
Right.
Yeah. Another stream of income for the family who decides they want to make the commitment.
Exactly. You can get another stream of income back there, and you can also, if your son or daughter grows up and they go to college and they want to go to in-state school, they can live back there for those 4 years.
They ain't come back home, bro.
They ain't come back home.
They ain't come back home.
And maybe mom and dad are like, all right, go on and get going. You stay in the dorm.
I took all that trash. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming home, Dad. All right, baby. Come on back.
Different strokes for different folks,
The miles like Lamont Sanford, they ain't happening.
Right.
Good.
The brother, I know Atlanta influences everything.
Yeah.
What are more? Anything else that we can be doing through AAMA, USCM to continue to support Atlanta?
Well,
and your
one,
vision?
AAMA has been wonderful to Atlanta. This is a great partnership and relationship. The training, the knowledge, the knowledge sharing across other mayors. Yes, Atlanta influences everything. Yes, Atlanta is a city of a large amount of African American people and Black businesses as well. But we still learn from our colleagues all across the nation. There's still great experiences that when I sit down with other AAMA mayors, other mayors of cities that may be predominantly Black or near predominantly Black, or mayors just are in areas of this country that are really experiencing some growth. And so we are just like them. Atlanta continues to grow. And some cities have already seen the growth, and they're now telling, hey, be careful about this. Think about this before you do that. And so my experience with San Francisco's mayor, London Breed, or with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago.
It's valuable advice, isn't it?
Yeah, valuable advice. And, Eric Adams, who basically in New York runs a whole country. This is New York City it's a country in and of itself. But the lessons learned about that. And I also think that the things that we're learning, one thing that I would often offer up and suggest is talent development. If we can talk as mayors about talent development, those directors that are in our organization that are chomping at the bit to be deputy commissioners and commissioners, and those deputy commissioners that are looking to be commissioners and deputy COOs and deputy mayors,
build that pipeline. Build that pipeline.
We're going to be here 4, 8, how many ever years as mayors, right? But succession planning for the people below us, because once you develop this great talent, all these folks end up looking around, trying to, you don't want them to climb out of your system. Stay in your system, have a way to, have great growth and ladders and lattices within your government, and that mind share. They're sewn in. They believe in what you believe in, but you don't want to lose them to another jurisdiction or to the private sector because of their inability to grow. And so I think that as AAMA, maybe we could talk about that.
No, Phyllis doesn't have the last word, but that's a CEO mentality. I mean, that's a CEO mentality. I mean, you're really thinking about how, as the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar corporation, that people don't think about it, at the center of a $500 billion GDP. How do I keep and attract the best and brightest and build them up? Because that's our obligation to the people who work with us and work for us. It's not just doing the work of the people, which is a priority, but making sure they can live up to their God-given potential too. That's
absolutely
one of that'd be an exciting focus. And that's sort of business people.
Because sometimes, I'm a former mayor's chief of staff. Okay. So sometimes our people think we're just supposed to hook them up with a job. And so
hook them up.
Right, just hook me up with this job, right? And so how do you get past the hookup and explain, I need a certain skill set, talent, not just the hookup piece? And you can hook up if you have the skill set and the talent and the education that goes
Give me something to work with. Give me something to work with.
Give me something to work with. Don't just. I need your resume to be. Just don't be texting me, man. I want to be a commissioner. Like, wait a minute. There's criteria. There's a job description. Being performance based in your decision making, metrics, having data, and really applying that to everybody fairly. Being cordial and responsive to people, but also saying, all right, I mean, I get it a lot. I mean, y'all, this is something that's interesting because people, they're excited right now. They really love what we're doing in the city, and they're calling and they're like, hey, I can do that. I can do this and I can do that. You ought to let me. You ought to let me. And I'm like, I'm excited as you are, but I also got to make a strategic decision. So now let's sit down. Tell me, this is what we say this job requires. This is what we're looking to do. This is the job that you currently do. Let's see, are you hitting those metrics? And by the way, share that with the Human Resources Director, my Chief Operating Officer, because I got to go here to be with the Phyllis and Steve show. Who's going to do this?
Exactly. You got your priorities in order.
I got to be on the Phyllis and Steve show. Y'all need to figure out how to get your resume right. No, but it is when you're doing good, you're magnetic. And people want to be a part of a winning team. And then they want to be the quarterback of the winning team. They want to be the leader of the offense, the defense. They want to be of significance. They want to hold the trophy too. They want to be on the front page. And I want them to, but I just want them to, also,
excel at your role. It's your role.
Your role.
And it's amazing what else you can do.
Yeah, and let's grow together. And, because we are public servants, there are no sacred cows. I don't know how to say that in a politically correct way, but there are no, anybody that's above correction or improvement. So even if you've been here 20 years and you work for 4 mayors, I'm still going to say that work is good, but it could be better. And that may whoa, but correction is a part of love. I can't tell you that I love you, and you can't say you love this city if you don't want to correct the things that will make it even better.
Come on, Deacon. Come on, Deacon.
My bad.
That's right.
That's my little sermon for the day.
But you're right. It is. It is. Yeah. Constructive criticism makes you better and better. If you can't take it, you might need to be doing something else.
And if you're a mayor, every day you get hit with constructive criticism.
Oh, man.
Your inbox, your email, your DMs, face-to-face encounters. People are saying, "Hey, you're doing a good job." You turn right to the right. You don't do this right. You need to think about this, and so you have to have the ability to receive it too.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate your input.
Because what people don't realize is when you run, most of the people you see are the people that are supporting you. But once you become mayor, you get to be mayor for the people that didn't vote for you.
That's right.
Right?
Everybody.
And so you're the mayor for everybody.
That's
and so
right.
the attacks really, really come. Now, did you grow up in Atlanta?
Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta, and it's funny that you just mentioned that. So I won by 64%. So 64%. But that was a large margin. But there's 36% of the people that did not vote for me. But everywhere I go, everybody voted for me.
You don't meet them, right?
I've been mayor for a year and about 3 weeks, and I've only met maybe 1 or 2 people that said, "I didn't vote for you, but I like you." The rest of them, everybody else voted for me. I'm like,
99.9%
y'all
of the
didn't
vote.
all vote for me. Everybody? Somebody's lying.
you say, "Actually, I keep a list." Let me say,
No.
What's your zip code? No, you didn't vote for me.
That's the funny thing with people who actually live in the county.
Oh yeah,
They
people
tell
that
you-
don't live in the city, they'll all tell you I voted for
They
you.
live in the county. They're like, "Okay, I voted for you." Like, okay, this is not the same. It's okay. Thank you very much for your support.
No, funny story. I'm going to end with this. So when you said that, when my mayor in Little Rock, when I lived in Little Rock, asked me to be his chief of staff, I looked at him and said, "You do know I didn't vote for you, right?"
Ooh, did you tell him
And
that?
I did. And he was like, "You didn't vote for me? Who did you vote for?" I said, "We're not going to talk about that, but I just want you to know, just in case anybody else tells you, right?" And so after that, he trusted I was going to be honest from that day on.
That's good.
That's a good.
Right?
That was a good way to be honest.
Started.
Now,
Right.
you were ready for him to say, "You're not gonna get this job," because
Right. And so sometimes, going back to your point though, because sometimes you got to hire the people that didn't vote for you also, because they have great skill set that can take you to that next level. And sometimes we get caught up in the small stuff and say, "Well, you didn't support me."
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, let's
Are
get
you
over
looking
it.
for a good fire chief or not?
let's
You know, I
let's-
mean, are
let's
you
move.
looking?
Let's move together forward.
Yeah, that's right.
Forward together now. So
That's right.
And so I'm gonna end with one last question. Okay. So we've been asking all the mayors, what's your word for the year? Like, what's that one word that you're living by this year, and why you picked that word?
Ooh, man, just 4 or 5 words. Just
Mayor Scott had 3, so it's okay.
Onward, together. Those are my 2 words. Mayor Scott used 3. I want to get it in 2. So onward, together. So I want us to move onward. We've been moving, and I want us to do it together. So that's it.
That's Atlanta, baby.
There you go.
That's
there you
Atlanta.
go.
Mr. Mayor, we appreciate you, bro.
All right. Appreciate you too.
We're going to love being on this ride with you. Going to do amazing things.
Yeah.
God's giving you some amazing gifts.
Yeah.
Keep using for everyone, man.
And AAMA and Frank and Phyllis and Steve are a part of those gifts. So I really appreciate y'all.
We're glad to have you. And thank you for that discussion today on affordable housing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And breaking it down for us.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, bro.
Yep.